Hey guys, welcome to the very first episode of our YouTube and podcast series, In Our Prime, with Priscilla Loomis and Ken Loomis.
What's up, everybody? How we doing?
Welcome to the very first episode of In Our Prime, our podcast and YouTube series. I am one of your co-hosts, Priscilla Loomis. I'm a 2016 Olympian, professional athlete. I represent the country of Antigua and Barbuda, and I am married to the wonderful Ken Loomis.
That's this guy over here. What's up, everybody? How we doing?
We're really excited to have you guys here and joining us. We wanted to start this podcast for a very long time, but COVID hit, and then we got sick, and there was just a lot of things that happened. So, and then our finances weren't what they needed to be. So
I'm a checking, I'm a savings, I'm a checking.
So we're here now, and we're super, super excited. Our tonight's first guest is Nick Wright, and we are really, really humbled and honored to even have him. So I can't wait to.
With a bang.
I think we are starting off with a really good one.
I can't wait to bring him in soon.
Yeah, I think in a couple minutes. Yeah, so I'm excited.
A little bit.
So as we are kind of introducing our show to you, we start our show in our prime with a random little in our prime conversation topic. And so tonight we are doing in our prime, do you rate your spouse or the person you're dating? And so Ken and I last night were in the kitchen and we were making dinner, and I was just like, I really feel like I'm like a solid 7.
I think she's a 9. Hands down.
You have to say that.
I don't. If you're a dog, I'm like, yeah, you're a dog. But you're not. You're a babe.
My goodness.
You're a babe.
And then what do you think you are? What did you rate yourself?
6.5, 7.
And I think he's a 9.
She said I would be a 10 if I had money.
I did.
Gold digger.
And it's, excuse me, I gave you a 9. A 9.
Okay.
I think you have amazing qualities. Okay. You are so likable. You're so gorgeous. And if you had, if you had, 6 to 7 figures in your bank account, I mean, what else could a person want? Like, what else?
That's a very good question. I don't have an answer to that. I do not.
So we were talking because we were watching Modern Family.
Great show.
Great. Obviously, it's a great show. I don't understand how anybody would not think it's a great show.
I don't either.
I think it has everything.
A little bit.
I think so. Yeah. So the episode was about Gloria and Jay, and I love their characters. They're absolutely phenomenal. And we were just talking about this rating system, and I was like, do you think we're the only ones that rate each other? But I think a lot more couples rate each other than maybe like not saying it. Do you think if I would have been like, I think you're a 3, would that have hurt your feelings?
No, but I definitely do think that women marry down. They settle. Like they could get themselves like an 8, 8.5, but they want that 7 for stability.
Really?
Yes. I think maybe it's like subconsciously in the head. Like the woman doesn't want the man to be the hotter one, and then possibly like, oh, he might leave. So she might settle it down, and then she's like, I'm as good as he can get. He's in full time. Lock it.
I can't believe that. I never thought of that.
I could be totally wrong, but that's just one of my many theories.
Oh, you know what?
Goes on in this
we'll
massive
definitely
head
ask.
Of mine.
We'll ask Nick. We'll definitely will.
She's a good-looking lady.
Yeah, she is.
He married up. I'm not going to call him ugly because I love the dude. He's great, but he married it up for sure.
Okay, so here's what my former coach had told me. Right, he said, in a marriage, you both should feel like you're marrying up, because you want to always feel like you got you got the better end of the deal. And so me feeling like you're a 9 and you feeling like I'm a 9.
Solid 18.
We are,
great.
yeah, we are good, solid.
18 out of 20.
What is it? Dancing with the Stars? Like we have a really good.
I'm a 2 if I dance. I am not. I could do the robot, the Travolta.
I know. We're working on it.
That's about it.
I know. We're going to work on it.
What? Can you turn? I think do it again.
No, we're not doing that.
Oh, okay.
Please don't do that.
All right.
But I really think that I do think that most couples don't do this because I feel like it would be like a competition and then somebody would get their feelings hurt.
Well, that's why most people don't talk about it. But we're not most people.
Yeah, I feel like we are very open and honest with each other.
Sometimes a little too open and honest.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's working.
So far. It's only year 2 of the marriage. We'll see.
We'll see.
In our prime, in our 40s, season 10, just how well this is going.
Yeah, we'll do a 10-year recap of this question and see where we're at.
We're both 3s. I'm bald and 400 pounds.
Well, as soon as I retire, I'm gonna fill out very nicely.
Fill it, baby.
Very, very nicely. And so this episode of In Our Prime podcast and YouTube segment is brought to you by Abond Wines. I am super excited to be partnering with this company. They are extremely hands-on and involved in how they make their wine. And from devining and crushing to the barreling and bottling and corking the wine, like the whole process, they're super hands-on. And I love this partnership because I love wine and I love that they're local and that when you buy from this company, you're getting a piece of, themselves, their hard work, their dedication to the brand. So they really truly care about their customers. They treated me with such kindness and love. I got to actually speak to one of the owners. And so we're super, super excited to be partnering with them. Check them out at Abond Wines on Instagram and try it out for yourselves. They now ship in Philadelphia and New Jersey. So if you want a little bit of a custom and, really something great to bring home and enjoy, you got to try out Abond Wine.
All right. So Hasbro has come out this week and said, what did I say? Hasbro. Yeah. Hasbro. Not has sis, but Hasbro.
And this is our behind the scenes.
EP,
he
Director
is
of Communications,
Director
Programming,
of everything.
Technology.
Julian. And he's in the background.
For all us old heads.
Yeah, he's bringing in. How old are you, Julian?
21.
Oh my God, he's 21.
Yeah.
He's in the prime of his
prime.
life.
He is in his prime. No doubt.
He's in the prime of his life. That's why we had the show, just to ask him things. Okay, so what's it?
Hasbro.
Okay.
Hasbro has come out this week and said that Mr. Potato Head is now non-gender conforming. It is just Potato Head, which to me raises a question. What about Mrs. Potato Head? Is she still Mrs. or is she going to be Potato Head too? Is she just also going to drop the prefix?
But I think the real question is, and I think we were talking about this earlier, Safari, he's he's a reality kind of show guy. I don't know. I think it's
made that mistake.
I don't know what show he's on. I don't watch it, but he was like, how are we doing this when it's not even a potato? It's a toy. It's a toy based off of a potato. So it's never like the potato became something. It's always been a plastic toy potato.
It would be freaky as hell if the potato became something.
But I'm saying it's not like it was ever real. It's always like in Toy Story, it was always a toy. It was based off of a toy. So how is a
Mr.
toy
Potato
having
was a toy.
I know
80s, 90s.
that's what I'm saying. So how does it ever like I just think it's going a little too far. I think it's a little unnecessary. I don't know who was in the meeting and said, really
a lot
important.
Of complaints about Mr. Potato Head, but they made a Mrs. Potato Head,
and she was great.
Balance it out. Yeah, it's the Costanza's mom.
Yeah, she was great.
Pack your angry eyes.
She was great. I really liked her. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
I don't
interesting.
I don't know. Welcome back to In Our Prime. We are super, super excited for our special guest. Our first guest for our podcast is Nick Wright. So
coming out swinging.
Yes, we are really starting it off.
There he is.
I didn't know I was the first guest. That's exciting.
Oh yeah, this is the premiere episode. This is it.
Oh, that's exciting. I'm glad to do it. Thanks for having me on.
No, thank you so much. And like Ken said, I love the backdrop. Yeah. It's great.
Every morning.
Oh yeah, the official work backdrop. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. I will say I don't even have the questions that I had sent to you because I was preparing all of this. Yeah, like I really am appreciative. My husband actually introduced me to you because during COVID, you were all we watched.
Oh, wow.
That was it.
Your station was all we watched. Started with you, Skip, Shannon, Colin, all the way through. Marcellus.
That's great. Oh, that's awesome. We appreciate that. It was, it was really weird because obviously at the beginning of COVID, there were no sports going on for a long time. But it was really important for us that we were able to stay on the air. Mm-hmm. And so I think my show, we were off the air for 1 week. And then they put this camera setup in my house. I didn't initially, for you guys know, for a number of months, instead of, because this is all, it looks on TV kind of like I'm in a studio.
Yeah.
But I'm just in my living room.
Yeah.
I've seen your behind the scenes. I love it.
and what was behind me, you guys saw before we had this, I just made my own little like Kansas City centric backdrop. And then a few months later, they put in these better looking, official looking backgrounds. And we made it through the summer, and then the NBA came back, and then the NFL went off, and now we're up and running.
I got you. Now, I feel that obviously COVID threw everything for the loop, right? Yep. Did you guys have like a plan for that week, or did you guys were just like kind of scrambling to be like, well, what the hell do we do now?
Well, I didn't know what we were gonna do. Like I think for a lot of people, COVID became real the night the NBA shut down.
Yep.
And I have a little different perspective because we're in New York City. Mm-hmm. And so New York City, you could start to sense something was really wrong before I think a lot of the rest of the country acknowledged it. And I still think April and early May of last year in New York City was a formative time in my life and my kids' lives, because it was just the streets were empty except for the constant whir of ambulance sirens. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a really scary, awful kind of time, but it was also like a time capsule. Like we were in New York during, as COVID was cresting here. Yeah. But as far as work goes, the moment the Jazz game got canceled, I was getting off the radio because I used to do a radio show as well. I was getting off the radio and I called my TV boss and I was like, all the NBA games are canceled for tomorrow. And obviously we were still at that point that day. Yeah. We had gone into work.
Yep.
And
because the NCAA people were,
we're trying to still have the tournament.
Yes. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely right. And he's like, I'm going to call you back. And he called me back and he said, we're not going to be on the air tomorrow. And I think that was a Thursday. And we were off the air that Thursday and Friday. And a lot of my colleagues have not been back to the office since then.
Wow.
I went back like 6 weeks later because all my clothes for the show are in my office. Yep. And so I went back I don't even think I was supposed to be honest, but I have these types of clothes at home. I didn't have any work type clothes at home.
I like what you're wearing. I will say,
thank you.
I like this.
Masked up, gloved up, PPE'd with my wife and got as much of my clothes as we could. Mm. And I don't know when we'll be back in studio.
Yeah. Because there's 4 or 5 of you.
Now
right. That's the thing is there's 4 of us. So and if you guys watch Undisputed, mm-hmm. They're obviously all the other shows are in LA.
Yeah.
We're in New York, but and so the rules are a little different. At times LA's been stricter than New York. At times New York's been stricter than LA. But Skip and Shannon, they sit across from each other at the desk, and Ginny Taft is in another room.
Yep.
Colin and Joy are
far enough.
Very far.
Room apart. Yes. And Marcellus and Acho, they have guests, but they don't have guests in person with them.
Yeah.
So I don't even know, like for us, we really need for all four of us to be able to be in a room together.
It's got to be safe.
I mean, so I think it's going to be a minute. Well, we need either a lot of room or we need, everyone to be vaccinated. And hopefully that's sooner than later, but all of us, rightfully so, are in the last. We're going to be the last eligibility for people. We're relatively young, healthy, and so we should be the last. But I don't know when we'll be back in the studio. I mean, Brandon Marshall and Kevin Wildes have never met in person.
Really?
Because when Brandon did the show at the Super Bowl, and when he did shows filling in, Kevin wasn't on the show yet.
Yep.
And that's the other thing for Wildes. I really empathize with Wildes. Wildes got hired, and he was a television executive and producer before this.
Okay.
So his first time, full-time on camera, was our show. He did our show for 2 weeks, and then COVID hit. So he's been doing the show now for almost a year, but has almost no experience of being in person in studio with us. So it's just the whole thing is just kind of, we're all adjusting on the fly, I suppose.
But you guys are doing a great job. I will say, you guys, that was my first thing, because when we found out that NCAAs for track and field, everyone was there at the meet and they were just like, go home. So my former coaches, they're all at nationals and they're just like, okay, we have to go. We're just going home now. And so I was like, well, what are sports going to talk about? What is everyone just going to kind of do at this point? But I just wanted to kind of get your behind the scenes on that, but we'll switch to more fun things so that you're not completely bored.
Oh, no.
I know my husband, I'm going to actually allow him in this marriage. I'm going to allow him to take the questions because he is overjoyed that you are on the show, that I got you on the show. Yeah, I'm pretty
pumped, not gonna lie.
I think I'm going to use this as our anniversary gift.
Sweet.
I got you,
Thanks,
Nick Wright.
Oh. Well, happy early anniversary. No, so go ahead, shoot.
Go ahead.
I'm an open book.
We got a couple of them. So when Andy Reid first got hired, was it 5-6 years ago, I guess now?
Longer than that, I think at this point, maybe 8 years.
All right, because we grew up 10 minutes from the stadiums in Philly. So we're right across the river. So we saw the whole tenure with Eagles. Yeah. Were you happy, excited?
It was weird because you got to keep in mind, he's taking over for Romeo Crennel and a Chiefs team that I think won 2 games, whatever it was a dreadful team. Mm-hmm. And Romeo was there for the coach for just a year. And before that, it was Todd Haley, a guy I liked, but who didn't do very well. So there is no question Andy Reid is a good professional coach, mm-hmm. but all the clock management, game management stuff was something I was acutely aware of. Okay. And as a Chiefs fan, I was just like, man, I just hope we get back to playing in big enough games for Andy Reid's game management to be able to break my heart. And by the way, it did. Before Mahomes got there, they lost some crushers under Andy. They lost a 28-point lead in the playoffs to Andrew Luck.
Yep.
They lost a game to Pittsburgh where Pittsburgh scored 0 touchdowns. And they lost in the final game Alex Smith played. They had a 20-3 or 21-3 halftime lead on Marcus Mariota in Tennessee in Kansas City. And they lost that game. And all of those games had some moments where it's like, oh boy, Andy. But he's obviously a good coach. He just had this one glaring weakness. Yep. But then, Mahomes solved a lot of it. Yeah. And he became more aggressive. I still think you even saw in the Super Bowl, the clock management stuff at the end of the first half when he took those timeouts, that just didn't make sense. Yep. And maybe the Chiefs were going to get annihilated anyway, but that did, allow the Bucs to, instead of it's 14-6 at halftime, it's 21-6 at halftime. So I don't think he's a perfect coach, but I do think he's an awesome coach, and he's so perfect for Mahomes that it's obviously been a great, great marriage. I
want to ask the question.
Go ahead. We'll go one for one, shot for shot.
Because I am now, my husband and I battle about this and I'm just getting introduced to sports on a global, I guess, level. So I think Nick Foles.
Oh, here we go.
I'm telling you, this is a real conversation. I think Nick Foles did a phenomenal job on the Eagles, right? He took them
both
to
times.
Both times, yeah.
Right? He took them to the Super Bowl.
He
Yeah.
won the Super Bowl.
Oh, wait. I'm building my case here. Okay.
Contract,
so he takes them to the Super Bowl and then wins and then leaves. And then they brought in, you're gonna kill me. What's his name?
They didn't bring in. Okay. They had
Wentz. Okay. Now, I think they made a mistake. My husband does not. I truly believe, why would you
not just stick with Foles?
Why wouldn't you just stick with the winner? I don't care if he's the backup. And the thing about it is, maybe he's not going to work anywhere else because it was his perfect fit. Like, if I just don't understand it. I don't understand sports.
I don't think, here's the thing. I don't think it's a crazy opinion. Especially because the next year, Wentz got hurt again. Foles came in and they played well and they won a playoff game, all those things. The problem with it is all the evidence we have for Foles before and after is that he stinks. Like that he's not any good at all. Now, what helps the opinion is we now have evidence that Wentz might stink too, and he's not even with the team anymore.
Yeah, he's gone.
And so, like, given how it went with Wentz, if they had to do it all over again, like hindsight, what they would have done would have been traded Wentz after the Super Bowl, got an amazing ransom for him, and keep Foles for something cheap and see how it works. So knowing that Wentz melted down, it's not a bad opinion. I don't know what Philly's going to do, by the way.
Yeah, I mean,
I heard
I don't know if
Jalen's
the guy, and they might draft a quarterback. To me, they have so many needs that I don't know if drafting a quarterback at 6, unless like Justin Fields is there and you love him, makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Got you. I do want to ask a non-sports question.
Go ahead.
I think it was yours, actually. How did you meet your wife?
She was a nightclub promoter in Kansas City at one of her many jobs. And she promoted this specific club every Thursday night.
Okay.
And I went there one Thursday night with my buddy at the time, my high school friend Garrett, who I was living with after college in Kansas City. And she was there. It was her night. This club called The Hangout. And I started going there every Thursday just to see her. And eventually she agreed to go on a date with me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Were you like, I guess, pursuing sports and during this time? Like, were you?
I did. I was 22, 23.
This is before Houston?
No, this is Kansas City. Yeah, this is well before Houston. So I'm from Kansas City. Yep. I left to go to college. I came back. And at the time when I first started trying to, get her to go out with me, I was doing nights at the radio station there. So I was doing 6 to 9 p.m. at night, Monday through Friday. Okay. And so I would like finish up the radio show on Thursdays, go to my apartment, get my buddy, and we'd go to the Hangout. Yep. It was such a dive club, hole in the wall, hood spot and this was, I was a kid basically. I didn't really know how to drink. So I drank, what I drank was blueberry Stoli with Sprite.
Okay.
And I was like the only person, I don't know.
It's like a blue Pop-Tart.
My dad shamed me out of it because I went, this not at the Hangout obviously, but I went to meet my dad, who's an old firefighter union guy, for his birthday with his friends. And I ordered a blueberry Stoli, Sprite, and he was drunk. Am I allowed to curse?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Yes, sorry.
And he was, half drunk probably. It was his birthday. And after I ordered it, he said to the waiter, he's like, and put a fucking umbrella in it for him. And I'm like, okay, I guess I can't order this drink anymore. But that's not the point. Point is, at the Hangout, I was such a Thursday regular, and I'm the only person in the world that was ordering blueberry Stoli.
Yep.
When I got there, the bartender would just give me the bottle.
Give
me the bottle of blueberry Stoli, and we'd just square up at the end of the night. And I'd pour myself drinks, and I'd get more and more drunk as the night went on, and just, try to convince my now wife to go out with me.
Wow, that's awesome.
I love it.
That's a great story.
That is. That's good.
That's that Blueberry Stoli story.
Yeah.
I like it. And so how long have you guys been married?
It'll be 8 years married in April.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Congrats.
So married 8 and together, because we were together, let me do the math here.
It's okay,
5 years. So we'll be together for 12 or 13 years. Okay. I can't do the math in my head right now. 12 or how old am I? I was 23. I'm 36. So we'll be together 13 years, married 8 in April.
Nice.
That's awesome. And really so, I mean, you can ask a question.
No, go ahead. Follow it up.
No, I'm just wanting to get to know Nick, because I feel like what I see on TV is, one, I have to give you so much props. I think you saw it. I posted on Instagram when Colin was out and you filled in for him. You did such an amazing job. And like, this is like something that I think that's what gravitated to me, like watching the show, because I always was so focused on what you were saying, your perspective, and how eloquent you just put any kind of situation. And so I think there needs to be more of you on television. I will say that.
Nice of you.
And when it came to Colin's health, when it came to Black Lives Matter, when it comes to these important issues, you find a way to really put it where people can understand you, relate, understand, and just respect what you're saying.
Well, that's a very, very kind of you. But it's that thing is this, like, so as far as, because I think I'm as far as sports opinions go, I'm on the scale of Scott Van Pelt, who's on this end with like a universal approval rating. Everyone loves him. And I would say not very polarizing because he's so well liked. And then my colleague Skip on the other end, hyper polarizing.
Yes, completely different.
As many people say I hate him as say I love him.
Yes.
Because of I would say when it comes to the sports opinion business, I'm far closer to Skip on the spectrum than Scott. I think my sports opinions are polarizing.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people, and the way I deliver opinions, it comes across like I think they're facts, and it's because probably I usually do. And I think that certainly like rubs some people the wrong way. So on the stuff that actually doesn't matter, I think a lot of people don't like me at all. Which is fine. That's actually, but that's actually kind of good. You kind of want, for like what I do, you kind of want a lot of people to dislike you. But on the stuff that actually does matter, which Colin's health was almost its own, unique thing. But on the things that I've been passionate about since I was a child, which is social justice and racial justice, it's really important to me that people respect me on it and that people know I am saying what I truly believe. So what you said there is a very like high compliment. Like that to me is what is the tweet I get somewhat often, a variation of it that I actually truly appreciate, is when we are talking about the real stuff. I'll sometimes, do the dangerous thing of check my mentions and see a lot of variations of, I usually can't stand you, but on this stuff, or on this topic. And that to me is so much better than if I was, I somehow was the one sports guy that everyone agreed with their sports takes, but I was just morally bankrupt on the things that actually matter. And and by the way, like, and I don't think I'm breaking news here to like my bosses, one day, I think probably that's what I go do full time.
Okay.
I don't think in 15 years I'm doing sports talk.
Right.
I think in 5 years I'm doing sports talk, and probably 10 years. But I think at some point I either move to some type of news political talk, or to the actual political space.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Some type of either community work or elected office. I think one day, I think that's probably what I want to try to do.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think you'd be great at it.
I really do. I was going to say, if you
that's nice of you.
do something in the political sense, you can have my husband be your running mate or your partner.
Wright Loomis.
Well, that's, you know, I mean, I don't know if you, I think I'm a fair amount older than both you guys.
We're both 32. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, so I'm 4 or 5 years older than you guys. But Keith Olbermann's career arc is kind of the one I've always, and I happen to agree with a lot of Keith's politics, but whether you agreed with his politics or not, the arc of, like, you know, high level sports guy, and Keith was at as high level as you got, into political commentary or news commentary. That's something that I think I've always thought I would want to do. I'm not as certain of it as I once was, but I still lean that way.
Yeah, I think you'll be phenomenal. Wine is good. Wine is great. Wine is something I do not hate. It's great at home. It's great at the bar. It's great on a bike. It's great in the car. Wherever you go, wherever you be, drink a bond wine, and you'll forever be free.
I think it'll be great. It was one of the questions that I had for you. I was like, is this exactly, you know, it, every time that I see you, it's like, you're just on it. Like, it's just so meant to be. Like, when I see Colin, when I see you, when I see Joy, I'm like, they're just so, like, relatable. I can like them. But now I'm like, okay, well, he's gonna grow and do something else. All right.
But this is always what when I was a little kid, I said I was going to be doing this.
Oh.
So, like, and that's the same with Colin. That's the same with Joy. Like, I think for most of us, you see, most of the people I work with, at least, that aren't retired athletes. Like, the retired athletes, they obviously were going to go be athletes, and they did that. But, you know, Skip, I think, was going to be a writer from a very little kid, and that's what he ended up doing. Colin was going to be a radio guy forever. Joy was going to be in sports media in some capacity. I mean, Joy hosted a radio show down in Miami before she did the Herd, similar to the way I got to Fox. And I, from a little kid, said, I'm going to go to Syracuse, I'm going to do sports broadcasting, and I'm going to talk about sports for a living. The moment I realized I wasn't going to be in the NBA, I said, this is what I'm going to do.
I got you. That's awesome. All right, Ken, here it is. Go ahead.
All right.
You only have him for like another.
No, I got time. Minutes. We can go a little longer if you want, but however you guys want to do
it. Look, this is our first day. We're just kind of playing fast and loose with this.
You're organic.
Well, go ahead. Shoot, we can go rapid fire, Ken, if you want. I can be quicker with my answer.
So Royals Chiefs, 2 championships in 6 years, 5.
Yeah, 2015 and 2020 or 2019. Yeah, so 2 and 5 basically. Yeah.
How much are you enjoying it, and have you taken it for granted?
Listen, here's the truth of the matter with the Royals. I was born in Kansas City in 1984. The Royals went to the World Series when I was 1, and then very shortly thereafter became terrible for my entire childhood and almost my entire life until 2014. Yeah. So I never really fell in love with baseball. Okay. So it was fun. I flew back to Kansas City to watch the playoff games, some of them. I do enjoy playoff baseball, but I didn't live and die with the Royals because they were terrible. Baseball's the sport I didn't play. They were always bad. And so it was cool when they won it, but it didn't. LeBron's championships mattered way more to me than the Royals World Series. The Chiefs one, I certainly didn't take the first one for granted. This was a team that from Joe Montana until Patrick Mahomes' first season, this team won 1 playoff game. Yep. 1. From 94 until 18 months ago, they had won 1 playoff game. And I was a diehard Chiefs fan growing up. I went to the games. So I didn't take it for granted last year. I don't think I took it for granted this year, but I felt better after the 2018 season, Mahomes' first year, when they lost in the AFC Championship game, I left that year feeling great. I was like, this was awesome. This was fun. Our team's great. Our quarterback's great. I still feel like this year was like a waste.
Yeah,
like I feel like we had the best team.
Yep.
I feel obviously the Bucs were on fire and we couldn't block them. They deserved to win that game. But I also feel like the Bucs were 20% to lose to Washington.
Yeah.
They were trying to lose to the Saints. They easily could have lost to the Packers. And I think the Chiefs would have annihilated any of those teams. So it's just, and maybe that's my own Chiefs arrogance coming, but I just think that the Bucs were uniquely positioned with the way the Chiefs O-line was. So I don't know if I've taken it for granted, but things can change quickly in the NFL. The report today that Russell Wilson, one of the 4 teams he'd accept a trade to, is the Raiders. It's not likely, but I could wake up next year and the quarterback of the Raiders is Russell Wilson. Justin Herbert takes a huge leap, and all of a sudden you're in a dogfight just to win the division, much less to get back to the Super Bowl. So I do think that I don't think I took it for granted, and this wasn't quick. I'll be quick on the next one. I do think I got quickly spoiled. I think I quickly got spoiled at how great they are and the expectation. What else we got?
Open it.
NBA adds 2 teams. I think one should definitely go back to Seattle.
That's right.
Brand new arena.
I agree.
So they need to go back. The second team, Vegas, Kansas City, Tampa, or Pittsburgh.
All right. So I don't know. Tampa makes no sense to me at all. It just seems like, I don't know. I don't think Florida needs more teams. I know Tampa's way north. Kansas City has an arena. It's my hometown. Kansas City will not support an NBA team. It's a college basketball town. It's a little too racist of a town. I don't think to me, Vegas. I think Vegas would be a great NBA city. I think that it would be a free agent destination. I just think it makes it I think it's tough to expand to a market that is going to be hard to sign NBA free agents. Pittsburgh is going to be hard to sign NBA free agents. I think Tampa would be. Maybe I'm wrong. I know Kansas City would be. You're absolutely right about Seattle. And then the other city that I've heard people talk about is and I know nothing about it, this is my own ignorance, Virginia Beach is or some that area has a huge population. And it's a big population center that I don't think of because it doesn't have any pro sports teams. And I do think that area could maybe, but maybe they might have enough pro team NBA teams there and I got to think about it on the map, but Charlotte and the Wizards. And so, maybe not, but I think Seattle and Vegas would be the 2 obvious choices. I also don't think there's necessarily something wrong with adding more teams to the cities free agents already want to go to. I don't think it'd be a bad idea necessarily to give San Diego a team.
That's
honestly, where NBA guys like Southern California.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that would be a terrible idea, but probably Vegas and Seattle.
All right.
Yeah, Vegas would be cool.
Vegas, they just added the hockey team, right?
Yeah. They got a brand new arena.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Vegas would be awesome.
I think that would be cool. Yeah. Someplace I've never visited.
You've never been to Vegas?
She's never, or New Orleans.
I know.
Oh, because you spent your youth exercising.
Yeah, right.
And working.
And gambling. No, not like us.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Running and jumping.
We were degenerates, and she was, being good.
Yes, talking to the degenerate that's apparently on Fox, killing it.
Yeah.
Oh, I listened to his wagers.
Yeah.
I partake.
This is my last question for me. So obviously this podcast and YouTube is called In Our Prime. Do you feel like you and your wife are in the prime of your life, or you feel like you're not there yet? Or do you feel like, it was when we first met?
Oh, what an interesting question. That is a fascinating question.
Don't worry, we're gonna edit all this. So
no, you don't. I'm just thinking that. So when we first met, and when we were first getting together, whether it should play a part in this or not, we were broke.
Amen.
And I think it's hard and we were broke with kids. And so I think it's hard to really feel like you're in your prime if you ain't got no money and you got kids and those things.
Yeah.
Also, unlike the folks I'm talking to, I retired from all forms of exercise and working out in college. And so up until very, very recently, I went literally 12 years, I guess longer, 13 years. I used to play basketball every single day, and I was like in good shape. And then in college, I was playing an intramural basketball game. I went up to dunk. I got hung on the rim. I fell back. When I fell back, I snapped my forearm in half. I was like, nope, I'm done. I'm retired. I'm never sweating again unless it's on a beach.
Oh my gosh. I did not.
Speaking of which, your vacation looked awesome, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Phenomenal.
And I really kept to that. And I just am lucky that I don't, because I don't watch what I eat. I eat whatever I want. And I'm just someone that doesn't, that's just kind of naturally thin.
You and Jenna must have so much in common.
Oh, yeah. Jenna hates that.
Miss Burpee.
But at the prompting over multiple years of my wife's telling me I should do it, the last few months, for literally the first time since I was 20 years old.
Wow.
I work out in some way, shape, or form 5 times a week. So right now, like this moment, I feel probably better than I felt in a long time. Mm-hmm. I don't have like the financial concerns that I had earlier. Yes. And I do think that my wife and I, as like a married couple and as parents, like have really hit our stride. Mm-hmm. So I do think like this is you're probably talking to the best version of me that's existed. Yes. And so I do think that, and I do think that there's a level of, I think there's a great amount of freedom in your 20s. Mm-hmm. Yes. And I think there's other things that come in your, later years as far as wisdom and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I do think the level of being in like you guys are early 30s. My wife and I are mid to late 30s, but mid to late 30s of you kind of are figuring some things out. Yeah. And you have like kind of already made oh Jesus Christ, how do I register a car? Yes. Like how do I apply for a loan? Yep. Like the adult stuff you're starting to get under your belt. So yeah, I think I'm probably, it's an embarrassing quote to say, like in my prime. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know.
Yes, I love it.
I'm 36. And by the way, LeBron's 36. He's still in his prime. So I think I can enter mine. Yeah.
I like that. That's awesome, and it's true because we are still broke currently, and he feels like he's out of his prime, and I feel like I am nearing like in my prime. Like as I start.
But for you, how much of that has to do with? Sorry to interrupt.
No.
That has to do. But you're an athlete.
Yes.
So there's like the prime of your like athleticism versus the prime of your life. Like that's the tough thing for athletes is it's like the athletic prime obviously has a defined expiration date on it, and that's way before you're even through a third of your life and so like that part is, I think that's a thing. That's the thing. A lot of athletes, I don't know if struggle was the right word, but it's just unique to athletics. Yes. It's like you have to start a whole new version of yourself.
Yes.
Post competing at this super high level.
Yep. And the woman who won the gold medal in my event, she was 37. And wow. Like as high jumpers, like the older you get, like kind of like the better you are. I'm done after this summer because I can't take it anymore. I really miss food and drinking and vacationing. And so it's just interesting to hear that, like, I'm glad everyone started off broke. So at least we're not starting off on the wrong
side. And do you guys, I apologize, do you guys have kids or no?
No, we don't want kids.
You can
no plans.
Oh, well then here's the thing. If you don't have kids, then obviously you need, not that I'm going to give you guys a little bit of just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. We love it.
You obviously need a base level of money in order for life not to feel like it's always falling down around.
Yep.
But once you have enough money to where like stuff's not getting repossessed, if you don't have kids, then the rest of it is just optional.
Yeah.
It's like, is it really important to me to be able to, order, like go out to eat a lot or a little? Is it really important to me to be able to go on X amount of vacations or Y amount of vacations? Like that's I think money's tricky because I think the only people who say money doesn't matter are people that have a ton of it.
Yeah.
I think that's ridiculous.
And don't mind
obviously
if they lose.
money, the best thing money can do is it can remove headaches.
Yes.
Not to act like I'm money bags,
No.
but I'll give you for instance. Our neighborhood in Harlem installed, and I didn't know they did, speed cameras.
Oh.
And I don't know when they installed it. Must have been recently. And every street in Manhattan, surface streets, 25 miles per hour. It's like across at all times.
Mm-hmm.
And they installed them. And shortly after they installed them, the blizzard hit.
Okay.
So when the blizzard hit, we didn't check our mail for like 10 days because it was snowed in.
Oh, wow.
By the time we checked it, because there were these new cameras on a street my wife and I drive every single day.
Gotcha.
We had 7 of these. I didn't know we had one because I didn't know it was the same light. It's the same light. You know what I mean? Almost like every other day.
You're going the same way.
Okay. So they're $50
Oh, wow.
So it's $350. So the moral of that story is when people are like money, like here's something money solves. Okay.
Yep,
like
you can pay
that's
it.
not a like
Yes.
and it didn't ruin it. It's not only you can pay it, it didn't ruin my day.
Gotcha.
5 years ago, that would have not only ruined my day, I'd have been sick to my stomach. I'm like, oh. And so I think it's bullshit when people act like obviously there's like money is super important to your like inner peace and calm.
Yes.
But if you are able to have the general things handled, I think there's way too much time spent, just my opinion, on the pursuit of money because people think, well, then I'll be able to do the things that make me happy rather than just doing the things that make them happy. Because a lot of it's like, you know what I mean? Oh, I want to work all this extra hard to be able to go do X. And they don't even do X, and they probably could be doing it. You know what I mean? Just at a different level.
It's
and
true.
Especially like and they're not having kids thing, man. Like the kids are the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I highly recommend them for people that want them. But it's like it's just I also could have a Lamborghini.
Yep.
That's the other side of it. Is like I could have a vacation home and not be stressed out at every moment of every day about how my kids are
imagine.
doing. And am I gonna have a heart attack? So there's that.
But I mean, I guess that's the thing that we're kind of figuring out is because people are like, when are you going to have a baby? It'll be so pretty and it'll be so talented. I'm like, yo, I haven't even lived my life. Like, I feel like I haven't done anything. When I go to meets, I go to the airport, I go to the hotel, I go to warm up or do whatever, go back to the hotel. It's not like I can go exploring and do
you guys haven't been able to experience,
we haven't even been on a honeymoon yet.
How long ago did you guys get married?
August of 2019. Yeah.
Oh, you guys got good thing you did it got it in under the wire.
We were going to do it at the Olympics in Tokyo in 2020, but luckily we didn't.
I literally was just like, what if I get hurt? What if something happens? Let's just do it. And so, we got in right up.
Good for you guys.
Yeah. But he doesn't believe in a honeymoon. Do you believe in a honeymoon?
Well, I do, but we didn't take one either.
Okay. Attaboy.
So
attaboy.
He didn't say that, okay?
He's on my side. It's fine.
No, so listen,
Nick Wright.
I agree in the idea of it, but not only did we not take one, we also we got we were planning to get married, and then I got the job in Houston.
Okay.
And so we moved to Houston together as a family before we got married, and used our wedding money on our house.
Gotcha.
So
which is very important. It's very, very important. That's smart.
But also because of that, we had four people total at the wedding.
Oh, wow.
We each got one family member draft pick. We didn't even bring our kids. We didn't bring our siblings, and we agreed that at our 10-year we were going to have a real big wedding and do a trip. So we have a plan, and that's I've got. By the way, that does mean like I think my wife's going to start planning.
I would say that's like next year.
Yeah, well, we have our 8-year anniversary is coming up in a month, and so
two.
It's but so we didn't do I mean, I still feel bad. I just started a new job, and we spent our money on the house, so we didn't do a real wedding or a honeymoon.
Gotcha.
So I'm not like politically opposed to the idea of a honeymoon. I am opposed to the idea. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
I am opposed to the idea of people, whether it's the wedding or the honeymoon, to go back to the money thing, spend so much that the beginning of their marriage
is horrible.
Is horrible because you're
stressful.
Just stressed and at each other's throats.
Yeah.
And if you spent that much on the wedding and you're on the honeymoon, I had a buddy that told me flat out. He's like, I couldn't enjoy my honeymoon because my, newlywed wife was, ordering drinks at the pool, which of course you are.
Of course, yes.
And he just couldn't. He was like, I know that's $18.
Oh, so
much. $18. And you know what I mean? And just
that's
so
how
I do
he
think
is.
people, I do think people put themselves in a
bad position
behind the 8 ball early. If you just for in a party that's for other people to a degree, you spend all your money.
It's like one mind.
That's why I like them.
It's like one mind.
Yeah, I do think that's a real
We got married at one of my track meets in Ireland.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I had 2 track meets, and I said, and he kept on asking me, "Are you sure? Are you okay?" And I was like, "Dude, we don't have this kind of money. We have a starter house. We don't have money to throw for other people to eat. Like, we're not taking our friends out to eat. Why are we throwing, for 200 people to eat? Like, we don't have that kind of money, and we shouldn't be putting ourselves in massive amounts of debt
for a 5-hour party.
Like if we were like Indian, we're like the Indian culture. It's 3 days, it's a weekend, it's a whole thing. Okay, we can do something. But for a couple hours, and the prices on the East Coast, I mean, we're right in New Jersey. It is outrageous.
And we were in Kansas City, and then down to Houston, but it just wasn't. The thing is, like, I'm all for it if you got a bunch of money, or if if a parent's got a bunch of money and wants to pay for it. Like, I'm not against it, but I think there are marriages that, I don't want to say they fail because of this, but they start off on the wrong foot because the moment you're newlyweds, you're in the worst financial position you've ever been in your entire life.
Yep. It's like college.
It's like, wait, you're a different person. It's like, well, but I'd never been someone that was $20,000 and now I am, and so of course I'm a different person.
Before you even get to college, you get you step on campus. Oh, there you are, $80,000 worth of debt. There, boom, there it is.
Well, not for you, scholarship. Must be nice.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna back up Priscilla on this, and I'm gonna say something. This will be a perfect way to cap this because it's such a jerky thing to say.
Love it.
Everyone is eligible for scholarships. You just got to get great at something.
Got to do it.
You just got to get great at something. This idea, folks kill athletes. They're like, you went to college for free. A lot of people go to college for free. They're exceptional at something.
Exactly.
They're just really smart.
Yeah,
exactly.
Be really smart, be great at the violin, jump, ride.
Now you can play video games.
I don't know.
I know.
Yeah, video games, whatever it is.
Yeah,
you can have your mom be on Full House, something. You went to jail.
That's awesome. Love it.
I think that's a perfect way to end. Should I clap now or do something? Okay.
It's great. I'm very happy very honored to be your first guest.
Oh, dude, we appreciate it.
No, I am super thankful. We actually have Marcellus in a couple weeks.
Priscilla did an Instagram live show during quarantine, and she was able to get Joy on, and that's kind of
Yeah,
we got it going.
Yeah, like I guess it's just kind of started, and obviously, like you said, I was waiting to do all these things. I was like, I can't do this while I'm training for the games. I can't do this while I'm training. Like there were so many things while I was trying. And my field is entertainment. And so I love hosting. I love talking to people. I want my own show. I want to be an actress, like all these things. And I was just like, I can never do these things as a track. And I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm doing it now. So
good for you.
You know, like you got.
Well, I'm glad that I could help. I'm glad that I could do it. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll check it out. I'll watch the full show when it comes out.
Yes,
and I appreciate
we're gonna
you
edit
guys.
it a lot just so that.
Quick question for you.
Yeah.
I know he's not on the show anymore. Do you still talk to Chris Carter, or is that just an ugly?
Yeah, no. He and I, there was no ugliness. Yeah, it was more. It was him and the bosses and whatever. But he works with the NFL now.
Okay.
And he's in Florida, living his best life. He's in a good spot.
It took you guys a little bit to find the new crew after he left.
Absolutely.
But I think you guys hit it out of the park with Wild and
thanks.
Marshall.
That's
I love
awesome.
it. Yeah, it's a good show, even for women.
Well, that's great.
Well, Jenna,
I appreciate it.
Or Michael J. Fox. It's great.
That's great. Well, thanks, you guys.
Nick, thank you. No, we truly
appreciate it, man, so much. Thank you.
Anything you need in New Jersey.
Of course. Well, I'll be rooting for you guys. I'll be rooting for you, and I appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Family the best.
See you guys. All right. Bye.
Thank you guys for joining us for our very first episode of In Our Prime. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I am super, super excited that we got to speak with Nick. He's a gem. He's absolutely
awesome,
amazing. He was absolutely great.
He's everything that you think he would be off camera.
Yeah.
Like you watch him on TV and you're like, I bet he's a cool dude. And he's exactly that.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
2,000,000% agree. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. Our next episode is with Tara Schuster. She is the author of By Yourself, The Effing Lilies. It is a book that changed my life. She is full of energy, full of joy, super just transparent and genuine. I absolutely love her, so I'm excited to talk to her. So check that out. That'll be our next episode. But thank you guys so much. We're super excited that you joined us, and hope you'll join us again.
Take care, guys. See you soon.